The invasion fleet of the Ossek Dominion dropped out of hyperspace above the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star. And Fleet Commander Tyran Voss allowed himself a rare moment of satisfaction. 400 warships. 6 million soldiers in stasis pods. A world of soft, primitive mammals below, according to the survey drones sent decades ago. This was supposed to be the easy one, a starter conquest, to blood his newer officers before the real campaigns began against the hardened border worlds. Report, Voss said, standing at the command deck's viewport, watching the blue-green marble turn beneath them. His science officer, a nervous young Ossek named Bellic, hesitated at his console. Commander, I'm cross-referencing the old survey data with current atmospheric readings, and something's wrong. Wrong how? The planet designated for invasion in our briefing is Kepler 9 Prime. This isn't Kepler 9 Prime. Voss turned slowly. Explain. The navigator input the wrong coordinates 11 days ago. A rounding error in the jump calculations. We've been traveling toward the wrong star system this entire time. Bellic's voice cracked. Sir, I'm reading radio signals. Billions of them. Television broadcasts, military chatter, orbital defense platforms. This planet isn't a primitive world. This is... Which planet is it? Voss said, though some ancient instinct in his chitin was already crawling with dread. Bellic looked up, pale gray face gone paler. It's Earth, sir. For 3 full seconds. Nobody on the bridge moved. Then Bellic screamed the words that would later be translated into 47 languages and replayed on every news network on the planet below. Wait! Which planet are we invading? It's Earth, sir. Run! 200 kilometers below, in a cramped situation room beneath Colorado Springs. Colonel Danny Ruiz was 3 cups of coffee deep into a night shift that had just gotten very interesting. Talk to me, he said, watching the tactical display filled with red contact icons. More red icons than he'd ever seen in 17 years of service. 400 confirmed signatures. Sir, said Lieutenant Grace Okafor, fingers flying across her console. Mass readings suggest capital ships, at least the size of our biggest carriers. They just appeared. No deceleration burn, no approach vector. 1 second the sky was empty, the next second it wasn't. IFF? Nothing on any registry. This isn't Russian, it isn't Chinese, it isn't anybody's black project. Sir, I think, she swallowed. I think this is first contact. Ruiz didn't waste time on disbelief. He'd spent his whole career preparing for things that weren't supposed to happen. Get me Northcom. Get me the president. And somebody finds out if they're broadcasting. They were. Every radio and television on Earth had just picked up a frantic, untranslated alien voice screaming something that sounded, to human ears, remarkably like panic, aboard the Ossek flagship. Commander Voss was doing frantic math. 6 weeks. That was how long the Dominion Xeno-Intelligence Division had spent, decades ago, quietly cataloging Earth as a threat assessment, back when the species was still fighting each other with chemical rockets and had barely reached their own moon. The report had been buried, marked Do Not Engage, and stamped with a threat designation reserved for exactly 4 other species in known space. Since then, Earth's radio bubble has grown. Its weapons had grown. And nobody in the Dominion had thought to check. Orbital defense platforms are powering up, Bellic reported, voice rising with each word. I'm reading kinetic bombardment arrays, directed energy weapons, and sir, I'm reading nuclear yield signatures on 12 separate orbital installations. That's not supposed to be legal under their own treaties. Humans don't always follow their own rules when they're frightened, Voss said grimly. He'd read the old report after all, buried deep in his memory from officer training. The one line that had stuck with him. Species exhibits extreme escalation under perceived existential threat. Recommend permanent avoidance. Orders, Commander? Voss looked at the blue planet below. Beautiful, deceptively calm, and now bristling with weapons, pointed directly at his fleet. 6 million of his soldiers were still in stasis, defenseless. His 400 ships had jumped here on a clerical error. Cut all weapon signatures, he said. Power down anything that could be read as hostile. Broadcast wide band, every human frequency we can find. Tell them, he stopped, then said the only thing that might actually work. Tell them it was a mistake. The message reached the Pentagon 4 minutes later, translated in real time by an AI system that had been quietly learning alien linguistics from the panicked chatter for the better part of an hour. This was a navigational error. We are not here for conflict. Requesting immediate withdrawal without incident. President Elena Marsh read the transcript twice, then looked up at the room full of generals, all waiting on her word, all with their fingers hovering over launch authorizations that could end a species that had just apologized for showing up. They said please, she said quietly. Ma'am, 400 warships is still 400 warships, General Halvorsen warned. And they just told 6 million of their own soldiers to run from us, Marsh said. Stand down the platforms. Hold position, full readiness, but do not fire unless fired upon. She turned to her communications officer. Send this back. Leave the way you came. We won't stop you. But don't come back uninvited. The Ossek fleet withdrew within the hour. Junk drives spooling in eerie, hurried silence. Commander Voss filed his official report that night. And for decades afterward, it would circulate through Dominion Command as required reading for every cadet. Under a single new classification, stamped in red across the header, Earth do not engage. They let you leave.